Folks, welcome back to the Just Rip It podcast, episode 2. This is our round one preview of the Riyadh event coming up. So each week we will be providing a preview, a review of what's just been gone, and a whole range of other great things. My name's Adam, joined here with my mate Jimmy, and we're going to kick off with a couple of get-to-know questions for each of us, given that sort of this is the beginning of the podcast. So if I just sort of give a quick bio on my golf life, I am up here in Brisbane, Queensland, member at Capera Country Golf Club on the north side of Brisbane. Handicap currently sitting pretty rock solid at 21.4, and been golfing sort of hardcore for around about 3.5 years, kind of really kicked in hardcore during COVID, on and off for probably 30 years. So you would think that getting into it over the last couple of years would improve my game, but in fact, it's just standing still. My favorite club in the bag is the 62 lob wedge, and my favorite LIV Golf team are the Rippers. Jimmy, talk to me about your golf game, your history.
Yes, mate.
When did it play out for you?
Well, I was a once or twice a year guy for quite a long time. And then similar to you, about 3.5 years, I went head first and went straight into it. I was straight into watching YouTube golf, getting a bit of an idea of what's going on there. And then, LIV came along and I just loved being able to support something that was Australian, I guess, and absolutely love the Ripper boys. So my game, I am a 23 handicap. At the moment, I have been down as low as 20 and I've started to leak out a little bit. So I'm doing a bit of work on it. But yeah, I just love getting out there and playing on the course. My home course is the Shepparton Golf Club. And I got to say, I reckon my favorite club's probably my 3-wood. But at times, it can also be my least favorite.
Yeah. Well, I was telling someone the other day, my 3-wood, I'm going for a new driver fitting
Excellent.
next
Awesome.
next week or the week after. And I said, should I, I was talking to the club pro and I said, should I go look at my 3-wood as well? And he said, look, if you're hitting that well most of the time, just leave it be. And I thought, well, I kind of mint it probably 40% of the time. I duff it 60%. He said, look, that's about fine. So
that's not bad. That's a good ratio. That's okay.
It's a nice
what are you
club.
looking at when you go in for the fitting? Like what clubs are you checking out?
Well, this is the hard thing. I mean, a bit like cars and cameras. Like I've always been a Nikon guy. I've always been a Ford guy. I've currently got a Titleist in the bag. I've got Titleist clubs. Irons.
Yep.
I've got Vokey wedges. I do have a Mizuno 3 iron, which I really like. So I'm not wedded to Titleist. It's just kind of evolved that way. I've got mates who have both got the latest Callaway Elite, and also TaylorMade. I hear really good things about both, but for some reason the TaylorMade's just I don't know. I mean, I don't know what it comes down to. This will be my first full driver fitting. I had all my irons fitted, but this is my first driver fitting, and I don't know how much look is going to play a part. I think eventually it might come down to that. I don't know.
That's all right. If you go into it with an open mind and you just let the pro do their thing, I'm sure you'll come out happy, which would be good.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Jimmy, saw you on YouTube last couple of days. I think this is an important sort of context setter as well for both of us. So I grew up sort of playing par threes and playing now and then. I vaguely remember watching the PGA Tour when I was young. I didn't really get into watching golf until about probably 2022. So I had a solid year watching the PGA Tour. I watched a little bit of DP World Tour. LIV came along, gave me another option. Today, what I can say is that I'm watching, not religiously, but not far off religiously, LIV, PGA Tour, DP World Tour. I'm loving the international series on the Asian Tour. And when I get time, love jumping into, the women's golf as well. So very much kind of golf on TV, but you've come from another perspective,
I
haven't you?
have, I have.
You're deep in the YouTube world. Tell me about that.
Yes. No, I just got straight into the YouTube world as soon as I started. Like most people, as soon as you start a hobby, you start Googling it, YouTubing it, you're trying to find out what the best thing to do is, how to do this, how to do that. And then, yeah, I came on like everyone does, got onto Rick Shields, started watching a few of his how-to videos and then his 10-shot challenges, which is pretty good. Now, if you haven't been on YouTube that much, you really got to watch for 10-shot challenge of Adam Scott. That is
Yeah,
a
right.
great YouTube video. It was done, I reckon it's probably about 3 or 4 years old now, but it's probably still one of Rick Shields' best videos that he did.
Yeah.
That was really good. So, yeah, I've always come from that sort of world. And then to hear that Rick signed with Liv as an ambassador and content creator just blew my mind. Like it was just two worlds colliding
Yeah,
and two
right.
worlds that needed to collide because
Yeah.
there's so much happening in the YouTube golf space, especially with pros getting involved now. You obviously seen Bryson do his thing, and then Grant Horvat and Phil Mickelson collabing and doing a heap of stuff together too, like another live golfer out there on YouTube. It's just great. It's great to see.
Well, clearly you're excited, so
I am.
we will unpack a bit of that later on. For me, I've seen I saw all of Ron Chopper do Bonneville because
Yep.
I love that course, and so that was my first YouTube video, and that was only like just before Christmas.
That
I
is a great YouTube video to be your first one too.
it is. I watched is it Luke Kwan? I
Yep.
watched one of like about half of his. I don't know, it got a bit stale for me, and then I watched the Grant and Phil versus DJ
Yep.
and Austin, and like I was hanging on my edge waiting for the second nine to drop. I mean, that was just so
That
good.
was so good. It was such a good video.
They're just such natural. So,
Absolutely.
um, yeah, look, I'm interested and I'm intrigued. So I'll continue to explore YouTube Golf World, and you might rub off on me a bit. So
Well, you should definitely start with finishing all of Ron Chopper's videos. I can tell you that.
yeah,
He
okay.
he was a lot funnier at the earliest time, but he's pretty funny still, and they're great to watch.
Yeah, okay. Jimmy, just quickly before we get into the depths of our agenda here, the week in golf for you, what have you played? What are you playing this week, or have you played this week?
Yeah, look, I haven't done any competition golf this week. I've just been trying to practice every day to get better. I'm sick of being not great at golf, so I'm trying to change that. But I have got a 9-hole competition tomorrow night, which I'm looking forward to. We do it every Wednesday. It's sort of midweek, breaks the week up. So that's usually pretty good. But what about yourself? You getting out in the course?
Well, I had an incident probably about 2 weeks ago. I was playing Peninsula Kingswood South Course down in
Lucky dog.
Victoria. Um, it was comp day and it was horrendous, Jimmy. I was on the 17th and I still hadn't made 20 points.
Uh,
Okay, so I was coming off a 34 pointer the week before, I think, back home at Capera. So I was just so deflated. Like nothing, just it was golf, right? It was just
yep.
everything was just rubbish all day long. I scrapped 20 points together. So I just wanted to burn my clubs. Um, I jumped back on the horse last Friday and went to Brisbane Golf Club. I knew we were playing comp. I was being hosted there. But I turn up and it was the captain's challenge, the monthly captain's
Yeah.
challenge, playing off like the markers were like a foot in front of the back fence on every
Mm,
hole. It was so long. I had a better outing, but so the last two comps have been pretty challenging. I've got a 9-hole tomorrow afternoon doing some content filming with my daughter for the first time
oh,
out on the course.
that'd be great.
And then Saturday heading down to Coolangatta Tweed for comp down there. So yeah, bit of golf, which is good.
Oh, well,
So
best of luck.
yes, indeed. Okay, agenda wise, let's get stuck into this. Jimmy, we're going to start with some quick high level. This is a podcast focused around the Rippers,
Absolutely.
as we know, and as the season goes on and the episodes roll out, and as the Rippers play more and more golf this season, we'll be able to dig more and more in. But we're going to quickly touch on broader live highlights and news and things like that. Let me start with a couple of observations and notes, which of course are old news now. But
Go for it.
from my perspective, um, I thought I thought some really good signings coming in. So some young guys. I had seen play quite a bit of golf before, both Tom McKibben
Yep.
um, and the chap from who's joined the Ironheads. Very impressed with Tom McKibben. I've been following him for quite a while, so fantastic signing in for Legion. Just probably quickly the other things, a couple of other things from my perspective off season. Um, just Tyrrell Hatton's play
He's
has
been unstoppable.
just impeccable play. Like talk about just a top 10, if not top
Oh yeah.
7, 5 golfer in the world. Like playing great. Also, I would note, which will be interesting, is Patrick Reed playing, I think, the last 5 weeks in a row on other tours. So it's going to be interesting to see how he pulls up after quite a lengthy stretch. So lots going on off season, more to add. But what do you got off season and news and highlights and things like that?
Well, one of my favourite signings was, and we can kind of get behind him, and maybe not depending on where you stand, but that's Ben Campbell, the Kiwi, who signed
Yeah,
with the Range Code. So I reckon
yeah.
he's close to home. I think that we can sort of get around him a little bit. I've watched a bit of his golf in the past, and yeah, I'm actually excited to see how he goes.
He's solid.
He is solid. He is solid. So yeah, it'd be good to see. We've obviously Danny Lee's already on there, and he's won on Live previously. Yeah, Benny Campbell got a couple of boys from down this way, which would be great. So I thought that was pretty cool.
I Now this really hurts me, but the Cleeks rebranding
Yep.
has just been elite.
Oh
Like
yeah.
like I am all in metaphorically with the Cleeks. Like
Yep.
I kind of had a soft spot before the rebranding, but this rebranding has just drawn me in. It is marketing 101, and for
It
me,
is.
I am totally hooked. I'm in. When I go to Adelaide, when's that? Next week.
Yep.
I'm going to struggle not to come out with sort of one arm of Cleeks merch and one arm with Ripper merch. I think it's
Oh.
I think it's lovely rebranding, and really looking forward to seeing their play this season.
Yeah, I reckon they made themselves relevant because they were pretty much just the other team in the league that just had a pretty, well, I could say bland because he's one of the guys on the team, but like a pretty bland logo,
Yeah.
bland look about themselves and all that sort of thing. And they've come out with their social media game at this start of a season and the rebrand, the refresh of the logo. They really have just sort of stepped themselves up and went, hey, like we're a team too, like take care of what we're doing. I reckon it'd be pretty good. It'd be pretty interesting. But if I know you've been to Adelaide before, and once you get in that merch tent, it's very hard not to buy most teams' gear. I can tell you that. I came back with 2 bags full of Ripper gear, and I nearly had a bit of Torquay, nearly had a bit of Crushers gear as well. It's very hard not to buy everything in there, but got to stick true to Rippers.
Yeah, and just on merch, the other things that have been happening off season, of course, have been various sponsorships that are coming in for different
That's it. The,
teams,
the
for different
Penguins guy.
elements. Like I was in Tokyo in November on a week's holiday with my daughter, and I came across a ton of Penguins stuff, right? And I'd been trying to
Yep.
find it and find good stuff that would fit a fuller figured man for quite a while. And I found some lovely Penguin shirts, and they're just absolutely gorgeous. And I started wearing them, and of course I don't know if it's official yet. I know Legion have officially sort of, announced their sponsorship with Grayson, but of course we're seeing it emblazoned all over the Rippers as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. They're
big
wearing it.
big change for them. Big change for them.
It, it is, and I can tell you, they're leaning more into that Queensland maroon, which I'm sure you're happy with.
Aren't they? Very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's well, clearly there's a line of sight to sort of Cam's Queensland heritage, of course, but I assume the rest of the team are on board. But yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm loving that maroon. Well, I'm actually loving the sort of maroon and the sort of maroony red. That they kind of
Yep.
it comes
Yep.
and goes in terms of the tone, but yeah, that just means I've got to buy a whole heap of new Rippers merch
You're not
here.
wrong. You're not
So,
wrong.
just on socials, Jimmy, one thing I've noticed, kind of subtle, but it did become noticeable for me over the break was Harold Varner's social media activity has really kind of ramped up, and I'm just wondering, off the back of Bryson's sort of success and the platform and following he's built last year, I'm just wondering if we're going to see year on year over time more of the guys, both individually but also as teams, just sort of really start to build up that social media activity and their sort of exposure.
Well, I love it because I love Howard Varner because he wears Jordans, big Jordan guy,
Yes,
big
yes,
basketball guy. It's great to see. But also, Liv are pushing these guys, or not necessarily pushing, but they're encouraging them to do this, which is great.
yeah.
And you're not getting that on the PGA Tour. On the PGA Tour, it's very hard to get that sort of social aspect out there. And I reckon he's lent right in at the right time. And I don't think Harold would be disappointed in me saying this, but I think that he didn't have the best season last year.
No.
I feel like he just really wants to push and dig down and grind and really wants to like make sure that he's in the top 10, in the top five. He wants to be winning events. Just doing a bit of social media stuff is sort of showing that he's actually pushing and putting in an effort and wanting to improve. So I really like it. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Before we jump into Ripper GC in a little bit more detail, just off the back of your comments there about HV3 wanting him to do well, can we have a quick conversation about sharing our respective views on individuals and teams that
Yep.
we want to see lift this
Yep.
season?
Yep.
I want everyone to do well, but there's some notables for me. I think it's going to pain me in saying this, but it's going to be obvious. But the Majestic's got to do something.
They do.
I really want to see them lift. Those guys are legends,
Yep.
and the work and the effort they do off the course is
Oh yeah.
fantastic. I really want to see them perform this year. I think the only other team I want to give a shout out to in terms of really throwing some support behind them is the Four Aces. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm kind of I'm kind of angry at DJ because I just feel like he's cruising, and a lot of people, you know, remind me of that all the time that aren't too fond of Liv. That he's taking the money, he's just cruising.
But he's
Um,
always been cruising. He's always got that
yeah,
swagger when he's walking. He's always that little bit slower and just
yeah, I
chill.
know. I just this is what 22, 23, 2025. Like lives
Mm.
well and truly underway, and
Oh yeah.
I really want to see them perform, and I really like that team as a whole.
I do. Yeah.
So I want to see the Majestics and Four Aces. In terms of individuals, Matt Wolf, for some reason, I have a liking to.
Yep.
His stats were good, before coming to Live. He had a couple of issues over the last few seasons. For some reason, I just want to see that guy have a breakout season. I think he's totally got the ability to do it.
He does. He's also got something to prove since the trade too. I know he wasn't all that happy at Smash, and then going over to the range goats. I just feel like he's just got this little bee in his bonnet that he just wants to keep going and pushing. And yeah, I quite like him as well. And I'm not going to lie, I have tried the Matt Wolf swing before, and it didn't end well.
Well, there's the swing, and then there's the leg and the hip action as
Yeah,
well,
you
isn't
gotta
there?
you
So
gotta give it a
yeah,
jerk a little bit and then lift your
yeah,
club up and swing it around. It's pretty hard, but
yeah,
no,
yeah.
I agree with you on the Majestics 100% because
Yep.
they're a bunch of guys that from the get-go got it. They understood live, they understood the importance of the social aspect, the team aspect. They understood about creating that culture and just trying to make something happen back home. But yeah, they've always just been thereabouts down towards the bottom. We just need to see them lift. I would love to see him get through to the finals of the playoffs because, like, we know what those guys have done in match play in the past. So it'd be pretty
Yeah,
important to see. But
yeah,
my
absolutely. What about you? Couple
yeah,
of
look,
teams, couple of individuals.
yeah, I'm quite interested in Legion 13 again this year.
They're going to be hard to
It's
beat.
they've just got a couple of young guns. You got Tyrrell Hatton, who's absolutely on fire at the moment. You got yeah, John Rahm, which I don't know. There's not much to say about him. Like everyone knows how good he is. So I feel like they're going to be thereabouts, and you just almost going to have to think that you're getting Ripper and Legion 13 are the two teams that everyone's got at the top of their list this year,
Yeah.
and it's going to be a tough one to try and get the wool over them, and yeah, get a couple of wins early. But I'm sure that the inexperience of young fellas is going to play a part at one point. We're just going to have to see how it plays out.
Yeah. I mean, Caleb Surratt, I think he was up and down last year, but
Yeah,
kind of
he didn't have a good week this week though in India.
well, no, well, India, like
Mm.
that was a beast, right?
Yeah.
I would have forgiven anyone that missed the cut.
It was, yeah,
Um,
only four people were under par, but like he was,
oh,
I think he was like plus 18 or
yeah,
19 or something.
yeah,
It was a tough week for him.
yeah, that's right. Which highlights how much Ollie just dominated on that
Oh, yeah.
Sunday. But we'll get on to Ollie. But so what about some individuals for you? Who do you want to see break out this season?
Yeah, well, I mentioned it before. I really want to see HV3
Yeah,
just at the top. I really like the guy. I always have. And yeah, I just feel like he'd be ready and gearing up for a big season. As I said, probably disappointed with his last year, and I get that. I'd really like to see him at the top. I just feel like he's just one of the people that a lot of people will get around. I know he's gonna be similar to a Bryson, where not many people hate him. I just feel like
mm,
everyone's gonna be happy if he wins.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Nice guy,
he is
absolutely.
a nice guy.
Um, Talking about nice guys, let's get into our Rippers
Absolutely.
sort of section here. So, look, for me, the start of the conversation starts with the Matt Jones re-signing, which brings
Yes,
the band back together for another season to contend their, team championship.
absolutely.
Just ending last season the way they did. There was, there was chatter for a couple of weeks there in
There was. The signing came very late, but then in the press conference after winning, the boys all said, let's run it back. We're going to run
yeah,
it back. So they did mention it very early, just the signing came real late. So a lot of speculation was happening, but I'm glad all four boys are back on board because they played some brilliant golf together. And actually, in the Ripper Golf season preview, Herbie hit the nail on the head where he said their worst player is better than everyone else's worst player, which is
yeah,
why they can always be thereabouts. You
yeah.
never count them out.
No, that's right. And talking about play, the boys came home for the summer.
How good was it?
I had the chance to head over to Nudgee at the for the Queensland PGA,
Yep.
um, and I was out there for the Sunday afternoon. Just
Mhm.
just so good. No ropes or anything.
Yep.
You're just walking down the fairway. I was following Cam and just his family around him, and he's joking with folks and chatting with everyone. So um, I think that was a nice sort of start to his sort of off-season sort of summer in Australia.
He
Um,
just looks so comfortable. He just looks so comfortable back home.
showed some good form indeed. But in terms of good form, Lucas Herbert, like this guy,
Yeah. So good. I think like look, both of them were up in the I think they're top five in every event they played. But yeah, Herbie to win at Murray Downs, which is not far from his hometown. Beautiful course. Been there, never played it. Been there a few times before. I was a proper golfer and just thought this is amazing. But yeah, it was awesome. And you can tell how much it meant to him. I mean, like the money won't mean anything to him. It's being at home and just winning at home. It just meant so much. And it was
mm,
great. It was really, really good to see.
yeah, yeah. I like his Sunday in that team championship. Like I just couldn't stop thinking how good of a sign
Yeah.
was Herbie to the Rippers. Like this team. And so you can sort of see, with the Rippers who have changed, Jed Morgan was there. You can see that year on year, every
Mm.
couple of years, potentially. And this isn't just unique to the Rippers, but these teams are just going to get better and better. And I,
Oh,
I
they
love
are.
I love the young blood,
Yep.
coming in. Like what Legion has done is just gold, you know,
Yep.
and some of those other teams that have bought, you know, a real young chap in, and you know, I sit here thinking, I mean, we haven't even started the season, but I'm already jumping to season 2026. I mean, you know, the guys I've got on a list who could potentially be coming into Rippers for
Yep.
the next couple of years,
All right,
is
just real
is
quick,
very
off topic,
exciting, very exciting.
real quick and off topic, and on the spot here. Like, name one person on that list.
Well, if I had to point to someone, I'd point to David Micheluzzi.
Absolutely. How good
Yeah,
would he be on
really?
the Rippers?
Were
Yep,
you?
absolutely.
Oh, like not only his golf is just elite,
Yep.
um, his personality.
Mm.
I've never met the guy, but you know, I hear him, I
It just
watch him.
shows.
He
Yep.
just he's just so fit for it. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. But
But he's
oh,
also got a mullet, so
yeah, I know. I mean, what a dream team. But
yeah,
look, in the off season down here in the summer, Leash punched a card to the Open.
yep, which is awesome, huge.
Yeah, yeah. So look, not a bad off season. I don't know what Jonesy was doing. I didn't sort of
I think he played a couple of
catch
Asia
him.
events. He was in the
Did he?
Macau Open.
That's
I'm pretty
right.
sure.
That's
So
right.
he played over there, and I don't know too much else, but yeah, I don't know. He was just like, taking it slow, having a bit of a relax. But yeah, he definitely played some golf in the Asian Tour. I remember seeing a couple of things there because one of them was the same weekend that the Australian PGA was on.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Um, just on Rippers, clothing, sponsors, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Red Harrington spotted on X earlier today that little that post of Herbie with the boys doing the sort of hitting it out of the sand
Hitting it.
challenge kind of thing.
Yep.
Did you see the noticeable new caps that Cam and Herbie were sporting? Did you?
I
Did
didn't
you?
actually look at the caps. I
Yeah.
was fascinated with their hoodies.
Yeah, no. So Cam was wearing a white cap with like the word Ripper on it.
Oh,
I
right.
hadn't seen that. And then Herbie had, like one of these maroon caps on with
Yep.
something on there. So that's not good news for my back pocket next week in Adelaide. So looking forward to sort of seeing what else I don't need to buy, of course.
Yeah.
What else have we got on Ripper GC News before we head into sort of Riyadh preview?
Well, just
Well, Cam's an expecting father, isn't he?
oh, how good's that? We're gonna get another. We're gonna get
Yeah,
a future Ripper boy or girl in
yeah,
coming back. So that'd be good.
yeah, yeah. I'm sort of I'm going back to when I had kids, newborns. I'm trying to remember what what life was like, and it was pretty hectic. So, look, that's great news
It is great news.
for Cam and his partner. So that was excellent. Actually, oh, I I should have mentioned this earlier. So off season Cam. So I was out at Capera, my home club, on the last day of the Capera Bowl, which is a
Yep.
sort of very popular tourney for the amateurs. And I was standing around the green with a whole bunch of others on what was it, the 16th. And there was a woman in just sitting in a golf cart in front of me. There was a couple of golf carts around, and she had sunglasses on, she had a black dress. And I sort of glanced at her and I thought, I've seen her before. And it started to really bug me because I've actually, I sort of said to myself, I've actually seen her a number of times. Where kind of is it? And I immediately go to things like my local cafe. Have I seen
Oh
her
yeah.
there and stuff like that? Anyway, standing, I kid you not, 5 feet in front of me is Cameron Smith. He was just in a pair of white sand shoes, cream pants and a white shirt.
Yeah.
He must have had his hair tucked or washed or something because I just did not recognize him. And it was his wife,
There you
who was the woman I'd recognize. And he's right there just chatting with everyone, Cam Smith. And he followed that group because he'd played 9 holes, I think, with some of the group earlier in the week. And when he was, of course, an amateur, he used to play in the Capera Bowl. So great to see Cam come out and just support grassroots golf. It was
Which
great
is
to
awesome.
see.
I reckon that a couple of those
Awesome.
boys would have been the guys who had the Cam Smith scholarship. So it's probably there watching them
Yeah, yeah.
because
Oh,
they're
that's right.
amateurs
Wes
playing.
Hinton from Capera.
Yeah.
Like what a what an experience. Like,
Yeah,
serious. That's just insane. A Northside Brisbane boy, Ken takes you over to his place,
and away you go.
Oh, man. Anyway, so we will have more and more Ripper news. We will go deeper and deeper as the team confront what's going to be a number of new courses this year and old as well.
Absolutely.
But let's turn to sort of a bit of a preview on Riyadh.
Riyadh under lights.
Man,
Under lights.
so I was watching some of the practice sort of footage that's been
Yep.
circulating on social media. Um, so this is going to be controversial, maybe.
Okay.
People, a lot of Live fans just loving it.
Oh
Awesome
yeah.
innovation, the whole thing. I kind of like I couldn't do it. Like I'm not getting excited,
Well,
right? Like
I'm not getting excited to play in there. There's a lot of distractions, but I reckon watching it is going to be
is
insane.
it? Because the
Yeah.
ball just disappears. It's just gone. Like it looked like it was going about 150, 180 meters and then just poof, gone.
Well, just remember what you're watching at the moment is just footage on people's phones. Like, wait until you see
Yeah.
the actual cameras and everything like that. They're going to be able to. These guys are professionals. They'll be able to make them follow the ball and give you a fair idea of what's going on. But
Is it
just
gonna but is it gonna I was wondering, is it gonna result in any quirky behavior? Because I was watching DJ like,
mhm.
cut the corner over trees on one of the holes that he was practicing on, and it's like it just disappears. And so
Yep.
did it clip a tree and it's fallen straight down? Did it clear it? Are they going to feel pressured to kind of speed up? Like, how do you find a ball? Like, just some real practical things came to mind for me that I just thought to myself, wow, this could be actually quite challenging. As
It
fun
could
as it
be.
is, quite challenging as well.
Yeah, it could be challenging. And again, you're going to have to, I don't know, hopefully avoid another Patrick Reed, that's my ball in the palm tree situation. But we're just going to have to see how it plays out because I'm sure that they'll have a bit of a press conference beforehand and tell all the boys this is what's going on. It's obviously a little bit more difficult this time because it is at night. We do have people down the side of a course spotting your balls and all that sort of thing, but there's going to be times where we're going to need you to hurry up and find it. It's, yeah, I feel like taking aggressive lines and things like that, you probably are at risk of losing a ball. And if
Mm,
Liv pretty much stamp it out and say, hey, you guys, you're going to have to go back and re-tee. You're not going to be, we're going to be very mindful of your 3 minute time that you got to try and find the ball. And if you don't find it, back you go.
mm,
That's probably one thing that they're going to have to do. But I just like the excitement of it being at night. It's just, you just don't see golf at night, especially at a professional level. I know you can go to Turkey, you can go to Vietnam, and you can play these courses yourself and have a bit of a crack. But on a professional level, it doesn't happen.
yeah, yeah. Well, I was jumping into sort of try and get a sense of sort of temperature and conditions, and it's telling me
Yep.
this week in Riyadh, getting down to sort of 7 overnight, 22 during the day. So kind of warmish days, but not too hot, cool night
Hmm.
air.
Yep.
Might do different things with the flight of the ball, but yeah, look, I think it'll be fun.
Yep.
Um, I was looking back at some stats. Brooks won Jeddah in 22 and 23, Waco in 24, and of course, Waco just comes off the back of winning the PIF Saudi International there at Riyadh, and Waco had a bit of an up and down weekend in India, but you know the data shows that there's certainly a couple of guys that have recent form in this type of a course, but
Well,
a ton of other guys as well, I'm sure.
yeah, the top five of that PIF Saudi International was stacked though too. So you had Joaquin Neiman, Cam Smith, and Caleb Surratt all finished at 21 under, and
Mm,
then yeah, Waco ended winning. He won in a playoff. I think it went to two playoff holes, and got the
yeah,
job done then. But
yeah,
then fourth you had Benny Campbell,
yeah,
and then fifth you had Tyrrell Hatton.
yeah.
So they're all pretty stacked up there, and I can keep going down the list if you want. But that's the top five is pretty stacked with some good talent. So.
You got to
Yeah,
find you got to find fairways here. That's my thinking.
you do. I don't think we're going to see 21 under. Well,
No,
especially because that was over
no,
4 rounds. But even then, say you halve out by four, you say everyone's 4 or 5.
yeah,
Yeah, it's 15 under. I think still a bit much. I reckon that the winner might be 10 or so.
yeah. I agree. Um, and I suppose there's a whole cohort of of LIV guys who aren't long hitters, but are
Yep.
very accurate,
Hmm.
and never miss a fairway. So, look, I think it could just, yeah, there's a yeah, there's a lot of potential. I note that Phil's out.
Yes.
He's done something with his shoulder. Um, Ollie comes in, which
Which is fresh off
fan
a win is pretty
fantastic.
huge.
Yeah,
Pretty huge. It's going to be good to see. He obviously he grinded and worked hard and yeah, ended up winning by 10 shots, sorry, 4 shots at 10 under on the weekend. And he's openly said that he's left the Corn Ferry Tour to pursue a career at LIV.
yeah,
And it's great that he gets the opportunity straight off the bat to, prove that he's got what it takes.
yeah. How awesome is that? I mean,
Really good.
he absolutely schooled that course on Sunday. Like
Yep.
I thought Bryson. I mean, Bryson had a round as well.
Oh,
But and I thought Bryson could have gotten close, but Ollie was just relentless.
he wasn't letting him get close.
No, no, but Tita Green, his play was fantastic.
He was. But
Um,
accuracy, as you said, is going to be a big part this week.
Accuracy, yeah. I was. I'm probably thinking too deeply into this, but Adrian Moronk being based in Dubai, I just wonder whether he, and I don't know how much golf he plays, off season or in between
Yep. Yep.
events, but yeah, the more I think and I dig in, the more the field opens for me.
Yep.
So we'll sort of wait and see. I mean, I watching those guys, I know it's going to be different on TV, but on social media, it's just the depth perception thing for me was kind of just a bit weird.
Yeah.
And it might be that just night golf isn't for some of these guys.
It might be. Yeah.
You know,
Well, again, it's something that they haven't really done before, and then they're probably all doing it for, if not the first time, like, for probably a handful of times they've ever done it. It's going to be challenging, but it's going to be good. Just
yeah.
the worst part about it is the time it's on for Australia. Like 2
What is it?
a.m.
What 1:15
Yeah,
East? What?
1:15 in Brisbane, 2 a.m. in
Yeah.
Australian Daylight Time. It's really set up so that it's prime time in America,
Hmm.
playing this early, and it screws with our schedule a little bit, but KO is really good with their replays, and if you are keen enough to get up and watch it, at least you're up at 2, and then yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you might be able to have a bit of a sleep in after that, but
Yeah.
it's it's uh it's just gonna be tough. I don't really like the 2 a.m. time slots. If it's a little bit later at night or say 3 a.m., I'm very happy. 2 a.m. is just that borderline one for me.
Now, I thought I read somewhere, Jimmy, I don't know if you can clarify, but I thought I read somewhere that it was only the front nine that's lit.
Oh, really?
Well, I thought I read that somewhere. The tee off is 6:15
Hmm.
Riyadh time. Now, I'm assuming they're going to get a couple of hours of somewhat light, a bit of light in before it's sort of pitch dark.
Yep.
So I don't
Having just the
know.
front nine lit's a bit hard, especially if you are, they're shotgun starts, so everyone's all around the
Yeah,
course.
yeah. Well, clearly, yeah, I've either clearly got that wrong or I've read, yeah, I've read something there. But anyway, we'll clarify that. But look,
That's right.
looking forward to the season kicking off. That's the main thing. And
Absolutely.
what's today? Tuesday. So almost like this time next week, I will be packing to go to Adelaide. I'll be
Absolutely.
flying out on the Thursday. I
Jealous.
cannot believe Live Adelaide is so close.
I mean,
Um,
I like the idea of having it in February. It's good.
you've been to previous Live
Yep, I went
Adelaides?
went went last year and it was insane. I loved it. Loved every bit. I went with my mates Ash and Cody. We camped at the party hole all day on Saturday.
Yeah, right.
We did
Yeah.
not move, and just the energy of that place is just nuts.
I was not a fan of the party hole.
Really?
I'm an old man. I love finding sort of those well after the party hole. What's that? Is that the 13th? Is it the 13th? One,
Uh,
three.
yeah, I think
Here,
it's
here.
13.
Yeah, I got the
You got the
live,
court map.
got the
Yep.
brochure here. So the party hole. There's the fan village. Here we go. Here. The watering hole. What? The party hole.
Uh,
The watering hole is the 12th.
the 12th. Yep.
The 13th. That's the big par five,
Par
I
five.
think. Yeah. So that the par three that goes up the hill, the 14th.
Yep.
Um, up in that little near the near the green of the 14th.
Hmm.
They've now got a hospitality kind of tent area in there, but in the first year, when was that? 2023 at LIV, 2023.
Yep.
Um, that was just open green. So you just stand there and you had sort of you'd watch them tee off the 14th coming up because it was a par three.
Yep.
You'd turn sort of 90 degrees left and there was the tee block for the 15th. You'd see them tee off, and another sort of 100 degrees is the green of the 16th, right?
Yeah, they're all in
So
that nice little area there, which is quite good to
it
watch.
it was a great pocket. And so
Yeah.
I'm there. Um, yeah, this is 2023, first Live
Yep.
Adelaide. The only live golf I had ever seen was the previous 2 years Australian PGA at Royal
Oh, yeah.
Queensland, right?
Yep.
So here I am. I'm standing there with a bunch of friends that went down, and I sort of glanced at the green on the 16th, glanced at the green on the 14th, and then teeing off, on the 15th. There were four Masters champions
Yeah. How cool.
within like 15 meters of me.
Yep.
And I'm just like going, this is mental. And in 2023, the tickets were like $30 a day or something, right?
Mm.
And I'm just like going, this is just insane. And it was jam packed. It was the best vibe. So, um, yeah, pity you can't come down next week,
Yep.
Jimmy. But
Can't this year,
we'll
but
make it happen in
I'm
2026.
100% locked in for next year. But while we're
Yeah.
down there, are you trying to, we're going to rip a GC Nation meetup on our hands?
Yeah, yeah, trying to get that going for the Friday. So keep building this sort of fan
Yeah.
base.
More on that next episode.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what else have we got on Riyadh? Big, big sort of par five, their longest hole, 630 meters, shortest par
Going to
three at 148.
hoping to see some DODs.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Um,
Neiman's had a ripper one on Sunday.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Wasn't that good?
And Cam's not
Um,
shy of a DOD too. He's happy to get it out.
yeah, I haven't seen Cam do that a lot.
Oh, I've seen him a
Um,
few times. It's real good.
yeah, I have seen Phil do it a fair few times. Um, for folks in Australia, still being broadcast. All the live tournaments being broadcast live and free on Seven, which is good. I also have the app, which is
Yep.
phenomenal. So there's nothing going on there. What
Are they
else?
running it back on KO again though? I think I used to,
Well,
no, I know it was 7-7 and 7+ last year, but I think with the Fox signing, I don't know if they swapped over or not.
like, or is it going to be on both? That's what I
Mm,
can't. That's what I kind of
yeah,
can't. I haven't been. I did some digging today, but I couldn't find that.
that's right. We'll find out at 2 a.m. when I'm half asleep.
That is exactly right. So that's a bit of our. Well, have you got your eye on someone for this week in Riyadh? Team,
I
team, and individual. What have you got?
Yep.
If you would have a tip, what would it be?
I think we're going to go and see Neiman go back to back at Riyadh. I reckon that
Hmm.
he did it during the daytime. He did it at the PIF. He's in pretty good form. Just couldn't quite get the job done, but he was in touch all week in India. I got a feeling that he's just like really likes his style of golf course, and he's the one for me that I feel like might win. Team wise, you can't go past our boys. They've had a
Mm,
good lead up. They've had a great preparation down there in Florida. They came home for the summer. They've been working together. I just feel like they're dialed and they're ready to go. They want to start this season right. They're defending champs. I feel like there's a bit of fire in the belly to do so, and I can't see anyone else beating it this week. Can't
yeah,
even, not even biased.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. So I'm going Torquay for the team win.
Okay.
Um, yes, this is a Rippers podcast. I'm
Yes.
going. I'm going Torquay. The team are going to kill me. I'm going Torquay because you know Munoz, I think, showed some life in India.
He did, yeah. He
Um,
fought his way back to even
like
par.
his potential was starting to really shine there. So and Waco's Waco, they're just really strong. In
Yep,
saying that, it would totally not surprise me if Legion had a blinder.
yep.
But I am going to go Torquay for the team. So the individual win, totally flying under the radar. Charles Howell the third.
Yeah, right. Really?
So
Okay.
I went back into sort of the archives over the Christmas break and just
Yep.
sort of flicking through those little mini summaries. And he is a guy that just hits great golf shots.
Yep.
Typically, pretty dead straight. And I think he could just get, the job done. In saying that, there's another other guys that I could totally see, winning here. But
No, I can see Charles.
you
He he,
know,
he won at Mayakoba a couple of years ago, so he's already got
yep,
that live win. He knows how to get the job done. So yeah,
yeah,
maybe he is one to watch.
keeping it on the fairway and just keeping it straight, and yeah.
Fairways and
So,
greens.
but it'll be a good. I mean, everyone's going to want to get out of the gate quickly.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it was last season. Was it last? Ripper were pretty slow off the mark last season. I mean, of
they
course they
were.
they brought home the goods, but I feel like
But again, they just introduced, like, Herbie just came there, getting his head around everything, and it's not just because they won at home, but I just feel that Adelaide was the okay, Herbie's here moment. Like, he had a great tournament, and his Sunday when he was playing with Leash just sort of really,
oh
really pushed us home. So I feel like that their slow start last year was just because of a new dynamic. Jed's out, Herbie's in. Let's just see what we've got. And it all started clicking. And now with a full season under his belt and the team championship, and they've all been working together. Don't know if we're going to be as sluggish this time, but I'd like to think we're not. That's one thing.
yeah, and I suppose Cam didn't have an individual win last year, so he's gone winless for a year.
Yeah, and that's something that I'm perfectly okay with. I know that he's not. I know he's disappointed with not winning, but the reason why I love Liv so much is because of the team aspect. I'm always watching the team pylon. I'm always
Mm,
watching and seeing how the boys are going and what we're doing. Just because Cam didn't have an individual win, the boys won twice and they won the championship.
mm.
I feel like that's enough for us. We're so grateful and happy with how they play, which is awesome. But I know Cam's not happy. And to come back home and have a summer of golf back home and still not get a win done, he's definitely going to be dirty.
You know what? I'm going to share a secret with you. Don't tell anyone. For the
This is a
first
podcast.
for the first two for the first for the first two seasons of Live, I couldn't stand the team component.
Really?
No valid reason.
Yep.
It was just I just couldn't get into it, right?
Yeah,
And I don't
right.
know if it was just an adjustment or something like that. But last season, I think it was the Lucas Herbert effect in
Yeah,
that
yeah.
he just came into that team and it was exactly what they needed. And for
Mhm.
some reason, I just like I don't know what it was like mid-season. I found myself just interested in the team scores, right? And I think it
Yep.
was, because all four scores counting on the Sunday kind of thing. It was just, and with shotgun start, it is just golf in real time with scoring, which is why it drives me bananas when I watch all other tours. But I just like I'm just so all in on the team now.
Yeah. Well, that's something that was
oh
just got me from the get-go. It's I've always come from a team sport. I played AFL, I've played basketball. I've always been in that team aspect, and I just really enjoy everything. You're watching the pylon, especially on a Sunday, it can change so fast.
yeah,
Like, someone can get a bogey and someone else can get a birdie, and that's a two-shot swing and away you go. It's not over until the final hole, which is amazing. Which is what I really like about it. It's very exciting.
yeah, absolutely. Uh, Jimmy, final agenda item here is sort of other golf business in our
Yeah.
respective worlds. What have you got?
Hot take.
Yeah.
TGL is trash. Don't like it.
Oh, Jimmy.
Don't like it one bit. I like where I like that they're actually trying to do something, have a go. It's not for me. I've tried to watch it twice and yeah, that's something that I'm not getting my head around.
Yeah. Okay. So, and we haven't shared notes on this.
No.
I didn't know what your view was. So I watched 30 minutes of the first one.
Yep.
Um, and I was just being kind
Mm,
to have it streaming. I haven't watched any since the first one. Um, I'm going to keep an open mind that all golf is good golf,
yep.
and all golf is golf.
Yep.
It ain't for me. However, if I was living in the US, um, and I was invited to a Bucks party, for a couple of hours,
You'd
and
probably get around it.
it was at SoFi Stadium, I'd it's like having the TV on in the background. I could sort of see it happening there. And so, I could see it. And I mean, they're only what, 4 or 5 kind of events in. So I can see in sort of, 2 to 3 to 4 years, it's certainly maturing. And I want to give them that opportunity, like, live, it evolves. Um, but on TGL, Jimmy, so heading back to YouTube sort of land, did you
Yeah, big news
see
out of
so
today.
like the good guys buying a stake in a franchise, like, and then the other YouTube folks buying golf club company,
There's a
I don't
couple of things to unpack here.
I don't know what's happening. This YouTube golf thing is like,
All right. All right.
I'm struggling to sort of work out all this other ripple effect that's going on.
All right. I'll take over on this one. I got this. YouTube golf and pro golf coming together is the best thing for golf in general. And the fact that these YouTubers, which get millions of views and a lot of people watching, are buying into golf businesses or golf companies
Mm,
like Tacoma Golf, which
mm,
Tacoma Golf are all about growing the game.
mm,
YouTube Golf is probably growing the game quicker than Live and PGA at the moment.
mm,
Then you've got the clothing aspect of it.
mm,
So Grant Horvat, for one, he owns Primo Golf. Good guys. They have their own clothing company, which is huge. They also have a partnership with Callaway, with clubs as
yeah,
well.
I
And
saw that
now
happened as well, didn't it? Like,
that's happened, yep. And now buying their way into a professional sports team is just the next big thing. Like I had a couple of times throughout the year, Live put on their socials, what's a big prediction for next year? What's a big prediction for 2025? Like I commented, they will have a creator team play as a wild card.
yeah, right. Does that excite you?
It does excite me. It excites me a
It
lot.
doesn't excite me at all.
The two
Um,
worlds combining will really excite me.
yeah, okay. So this Rick Shields thing,
Hmm.
okay.
Yep.
As I said, I saw one episode with him and Sergio, and I really liked it.
Yep.
Not interested to watch any more after that. But
Yep.
what clearly it means something, and it's strategic because that's what Live's
Yes.
all about. Like there'll be more content, sure, but can you let me in on the biggest secret here? I kind of,
Absolutely.
what does it
So
mean? Where is it going to go?
So us as just fans of golf will get to see our favorite players in a more relaxed setting, filming YouTube videos with Rick Shields on YouTube for free. So our Ripper boys, who are all quite reserved, keep themselves quite a bit. They do a bit on social media and things like that, which is great. But they're again, and Cam's spoken about this before. They are fully aware of tall poppy syndrome, so they like just to keep themselves a bit grounded and keep themselves level-headed, which is great.
Mm,
But we just don't get to see him in that aspect like a Bryson, like a Phil Mickelson now, are actually out there in a different environment, playing a more casual style of golf.
yeah.
Opening up the doors with Rick Shields to film 10 shot challenges with these pros, to film scramble events with these pros, to see who can, score the best score at whatever it may be, to also film 2v2 match plays with these pros. Like we're going to see so much more professional golf for free this year than we ever have. And it really, really excites me. And you can tell because the more we get to see these professional players on a free platform like YouTube, the more we get to understand what they're like, the more we get to follow them, the more we get to like them. And the only other way that I can explain this is what Full Swing has done for some players in the PGA Tour. And I'll say Joel Darman for one.
Yeah, for sure.
Everyone sort of knew who he was. That's it. They watched his Full Swing episode. Everyone loved him. He's just a guy who's happy being the 80th in the world, whatever it may be, because he's like someone's got to do it. Everyone loved him at that point. He's also signed with Good for his apparel too. That's another thing.
Yeah, yeah. It was
Yeah.
the summer, our summer
Hmm.
globally for the YouTube golf, kind of just so many things happened.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're excited. We're going to keep seeing that, and no doubt we'll probably end up with a bloody YouTube agenda item every week if you have your way. So that's fine. Um, I uh, I did also. I tell a lie. I saw another YouTube. It was like a 20-minute clip thing. There's this.
Yep.
I think it was an English guy. He does this the grid,
Yep.
and he gets players to sort of
Jump on it. Yep.
picks the yardage and I did find that damn
That's fun.
entertaining. It was Cam
Yep.
Smith, so that's why I
Yep.
watched it, not because of I had no idea who that guy is or what channel, but it was Cam Smith dialing in clubs. But I really did like that. It was kind of technical,
Yeah.
but also got a set. What I love hearing is, which I think Liv is doing really well, is player caddy interaction,
Yep.
miking them up. Um, that 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 it wasn't a series, but the Vegas the Vegas event, Bryson, he got his guys to record video and audio of him doing a whole round, then he,
Yep.
I don't know, he crunched it down into 20 minutes or something, and listening to him and his caddy on the greens reading greens, um, just total nerd out.
Oh
Loved
yeah.
it. Loved it
If
hearing
you
that
really
stuff.
want to nerd out, you can just watch any Bryson video because he's just a golf nerd. And when he talks about anything technical, like a lot of people listen, and it's very fascinating. And the way he interacts with his caddies is just so cool just to hear that because we never used to get that sort of stuff. We never
Yeah.
used to get anything that close.
Yeah. I noticed he didn't have his usual caddy on his bag in India this week. Um, just gone. And what an impact he kind of had over there.
Yeah.
Um, one thing, as he was coming back on Sunday, geez, he was hitting some good shots, but and putts and chips, and I thought to myself, that there's going to be a season where he tanks, like
Yeah.
like it's all going to happen, and it's like that's going to be the saddest day, the saddest year.
Well, I think
Bryson's off year, and it's like, oh, I don't want that to happen.
well, Bryson's come from like a level where no one likes him to now he's everyone's favorite
Yeah,
golfer.
yeah,
And again, you and I, we both said earlier, we started like paying more attention to golf and doing all that sort of stuff about 3.5 years ago. So we really saw the everybody hates Bryson stage turn into the everyone loves Bryson really, really quickly. We didn't get the big swinging big trying to overpower golf course Bryson. I was watching a bit of golf back in the day, but I didn't really pay too much attention to him. Well, I do know that because I did watch it, he did come second at the Australian Masters in the last year. We had the Australian Masters here, and I remember seeing him then. But
mm,
now what he's doing is just trying to grow the game everywhere. And I'm sure you would have seen the clips. He was on the range when it was pitch black in
yeah,
India, and people were just watching him hit
yeah,
bombs. They
yeah,
were just watching him do his thing, and he was lapping it up and loving it. So
mm.
he wasn't just there for a golf tournament; like he was there just for the country, just for something different.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, imagine unlocking India, as a
I know,
golf market and opportunity. I
absolutely.
mean, can't wait for Liv to get to South Africa and India. So,
Yeah, yep.
so much more. But Jimmy, that's our time. That's
That's
kind
us.
of our first full episode done. It's been good, mate. Appreciate
Certainly has.
the yarn. Looking forward to Riyadh and We'll be, of course, supporting our guys from afar in spirit. But we'll be back again next week to do the review and talk all things our golf and other golf and YouTube golf. So looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And the big
Good to be
preview
here.
for Adelaide. That's going to be huge.
Oh
We could
man.
spend half an episode just talking about the dance lineup.
Actually, that's
We got Dom Dollar, we got Fisher.
maybe I'm in bed by then. Maybe we should do that. We should just do a Live Adelaide all in next week. I was going through some old photos of last
Yep.
year and 2023, and just sort of recapping it all, and it was just golf like I'd never experienced. So yeah, I am
Absolutely.
excited, but yeah, looking forward to next week's
Me too.
episode as well. Okay, buddy. Up the rippers.
Sounds great. Keep
See
ripping
you,
it, boys.
see you,
See
Jimmy.
you.